What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Antwyone. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We're about to get into it. Without further ado, let's go. What's in your studio? Oh, baby, baby. What's going on with your photos, baby? All right, people, this is what we got going on here. We're going to be doing some editing real quick. And inside that editing, this is a hairstylist who came in to do some modeling. They were having fun. I was having fun. And we're about to go ahead and do the final setup of the looks that we want to kind of create for this. So I'm going to just share with you a few things that I always do when I'm looking at my finalization of the project. Make sure my photo is aligned, make sure it makes sense to the frame itself. And this one kind of turned itself away, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back and rotate this one back because I'm grading this off of the rotation of where the eyes are at and where the head and alignment of the head is at. But I'm gonna go ahead and make it a little longer, and we're gonna first do that. But I like to go ahead and do a little bit more rotation on this, just because there's just something about the eyebrows was out of whack for me. I wanted to make sure that's good to go, so it looks a lot better. Of course, you got another part of the frame is it framed in the best way you want. So I'm gonna make sure she's in, this is shot in basically in thirds, but I don't need that much space as well. I'm the type of person, again, what's the distance between the top of the head to the frame and going down from the waistline all the way down. I like to have the image itself be inside the frame. Now, when you talk about closing off the frame, since this is open and she's in thirds, this right here gets to be, you get to kind of get away with this until you can't, okay? So what I mean is I'm gonna close this off through using layers and adjustments with the light and stuff like that. That's what's gonna make sure this kind of gets closed off. But let's have some fun. I'm gonna go into camera raw filter. That's where I do most of my edits, and I have some filters here that I can just start playing with and start looking into wanting to see how these will look for these particular sets. We got lifestyle. I guess when you see these, you're like, oh man, these things look horrible. Well, yeah, because we didn't grade them down. We didn't put them at a place to where it would make sense. Okay, so you would definitely, if it's at 43% versus at the max, then yeah, it'll look kind of crazy. So what I'm gonna do is I like lifestyle, since this is kind of cut into that a little bit, and then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to look at a few things. So this right here is your masking, and I am always firm to do some masking. So since the light is coming from this way, this is her open side, and the light is coming in from this way, I'm going to you can close something off by actually adding light too. You don't have to have it be a negative fill. You can actually do it with a positive fill, which is more light, because it'll grade you back over to some of the things you can do. You can look at, you can draw in some clarity, okay, on that side. A little bit more texture, and then you go down here to your curves adjustment, and you can look at how you can usually kind of pop in some light. So now the frame is popped in with more light. Now I want to do the same thing to the other side, but I'm sorry, not red, that was a radio. Another linear, but I want to close this one off a little bit darker. So one of the things I would do, I just go in and then just drop the shadows just a little bit. Not enough to where it's going to make too much of an impact, but just a little bit. You can kind of grade that into there, kind of give her a little more gradient feel to there. You can watch the lines that you can see her gradient is on there. And then we can hit OK. All right, the last thing that I want to look at is for this particular image, I'm going to look at it a little bit. Since I distorted it just a little bit, I'm going to look at it a little bit of curves, not curves adjustment, but liquify. And the one thing I do is I love her eyes. Her eyes looks amazing. But I'm going to go ahead and just kind of make her just a tad bit smaller, and the eye height down just a little bit. And I'm going to do a little bit of eye tilt. We're going to do both of those. Both of those. And both of those. Just a little bit of eye tilt. Some of the other things I want to look at is just the forehead too. Having braids, you basically, when I drew her back a little bit, I made her forehead just a tad bit longer. So I'm gonna shorten her forehead just a little bit, just a tad bit with there, and then I'm gonna go over here just to make sure I have my size right. I always try to do the same, almost as similar to the same size when I start mimicking and pushing down on the head. On any type of portion of the body, you want to kind of have it almost the same shape. And then if you do the forehead, you gotta think about what you can do in the back too. For me, I'm always a shoulder person. I always want to make sure the shoulders are looking good. I'm gonna lift the bust just a little bit. Flare out the jacket just a little bit. I will go up, push up the shoulders again. The shoulders lean on that. Tuck this hair in just a tad. All right, and drop that. I gotta make this a little bit smaller because it's so I can work on this back end right here. It's just making her head pointy in the back, so it draws it up. So I'm gonna push that down just a little bit. Okay, and this portion right here, I'm gonna push over just a tad bit. Sorry, my pen is not cooperating with me. All right there, just a tad bit. Okay. That's good, that's good. See, it's a little chunky there with the necklace. So much you can do with just little small touches as well. I'm gonna hit OK. All right, so one or two things I do like about this picture. The picture is very, very beautiful. She's a very, very beautiful lady. But I want to make sure, this portion right here is just bothering me. The extra hang and the material right here, it's just really bothering me. So I'm gonna see what I can do with generative fill. I'm gonna push this over, so see if I can get something that will equal it out. At least the bottom, it'll make sense. And maybe I will go with the whole piece. I'm gonna go with the whole bottom piece right here. Let's see if it makes sense, if it'll do something different for me. You don't have to type anything again, just hit generative fill. And it should, for some and every reason, kind of give you a different option maybe. And we'll see what happens. See, I like that better. See how that makes sense? She still has her curves, she still has her lines, but I mean, just day and night from that to that. I don't even have to look at any other ones. I like the way this one kind of worked out, and that makes more sense to me. That looks good. That looks more, you know, put together, I guess, in the way that I would do it. Now, there's some funny things happening right here. I say her skin is nice and dark here, and then this portion right here is light. So if you guys didn't notice it, I did. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flatten this, and I'm gonna go back to, I'm not gonna use dodge and burn, but I'm looking at the frame. I'm gonna go back to camera raw filter, and I'm going to do another gradient at the bottom, and I'll make sure it's barely touching where the gradient is right there underneath the shirt. And I want to make sure I really dig into those shadows and kind of get that skin to match as quickly as I can. Oh gosh, stop. Do this again. Sorry, my pen wants to be a menace to society. I'm just kind of drawing down across the line, and that makes more sense to me right there. And since I'm in here, because you know how I am, most of you guys have seen my editing videos, I'm gonna hit another mask and do a brush. I'm gonna just brush this jacket. You may be asking me, what's wrong with the jacket? All right, so the jacket in itself, I want to add a little bit more contrast to the jacket. That's it. Just make it a little pop. Make the jacket pop just a little bit. Add some shadows to it. Add some darkness to it by the black. Just kind of seeing what the blackness is, and possibly having a little bit of blue added back to it as well. We'll go down here. Add a little more saturation to the jacket to kind of get it to pop a little bit, so it can kind of match the picture itself. Where else? I'm gonna do just a smidge of a curves adjustment, so it gives it a little bit, and then you can just draw back over it where you want stuff to be. That's good to go. All right, now I'll get you the before and after. I got to give you a little bit before and after. There we go. All right, so you guys can see that. Now I'm liking this a lot. Now this particular image can be used for me. I kept a little bit of space right here, so if my model will want to use this as some for their portfolio or something like that, or to add some words on it, they can. But a few things I know for me to make it pop just a little bit more, I'm going to do a dodge and burn curves adjustment, because ain't nothing wrong with doing a little dodge and burn, baby. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of dodging. Hit the brush flow, and put that back down to probably 9, 8 or 9 is fine, 100% opacity. And I'm just gonna tap on areas that make sense for me. Let me wash off my board here. Push this up there. And I'm just gonna highlight some areas that works for me, kind of around the eyes, cheeks a little bit, the shoulder right here, clavicle, the medallion. Get the necklace to shine a little bit where it's supposed to shine. Right here where the light hits the bust line right here, and a little bit right there. Tab it on the forehead. And I'm just gonna start raking on the hair as well. I'm kind of looking at that. Where else? On the buttons. Get the buttons to pop a little bit. And then when you look at certain things, you can say, hey, if you do one, should you do the other one? Which I will. I'll hit a quick little burn. Burns it again. Burn probably at 4 or 5. Okay. And where would you naturally burn? Okay. I'm gonna burn where I would normally want to see shadows. Okay. So where I want to darken the shadows up just a tad bit. Especially something right in here was bugging me. All right. And then around the jacket, and the jacket pocket, the little spaces in the jacket, because that allows the jacket to kind of have like a 2D to 3D effect. And you can kind of use the shadows to bring out the jacket. So the jacket has some push and pull. And then the same thing with your shirt, especially with the white shirts. You definitely want to have some push and pull. All right, so that looks good. We got to do too much more to that. hit the layer, hit flatten the layer. Again, this is an amazing picture that giving a beautiful skin tone, gloss that where it needs to be glossed, and it shows up pretty dang well. So I'm going to go ahead and save this image, and we can join me in my studio. Actually, if you want to see the behind the scenes for this photo shoot, please do go to my other video I have, and you can see the behind the scenes for this actual photo shoot. It says it's one about I think it's the Octobox one, but you see her picture. It's in black and white on there, so you can see us taking these pictures and stuff. So, but other than that, man, keep shining and grinding. My name is Antwyone. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for a spell, and I don't got nothing else. And you guys just keep doing what you do. All right, I'm out.